Greetings, everyone. You're listening to the Aquila View. I'm your host, Narayan, and we are back with yet another episode. Today, we have with us Team Phantom Racing from Australia. Over the last couple of weeks, we've continuously recording podcasts with teams from different countries, but today we're recording with our first Australian team who believe in delivering quality by doing the work precisely in order to get some excellent results. Today, we'll be interacting with all of these young minds from Australia. So, before moving ahead, I'd like all of you guys to just introduce yourselves and what is your role in Team Phantom. We'll start with Arjun.
Hello, my name is Arjun, and I'm the chief designer for Phantom.
Cameron,
Hello, I'm Cameron.
Ishan,
Hi everyone, I'm Ishan Tiwari and I'm the team manager for Team Phantom.
followed by Jason,
Hello, I am Jason, and I am the F1 in Schools Team Phantom head of finance and marketing.
Kevin.
Hi, I'm Kevin. I'm the graphic designer for Team Phantom.
Amazing. So, guys, over the next course of 20 to 25 minutes, we'll be talking about your busy and yet adventurous journey till here. So, before wasting any time further, let's get into the podcast. Firstly, I like to welcome you all to the Aquila family. This is what we call. And I hope you guys are doing extremely well and healthy, seeing the situations that we all are going through right now. Before actually moving ahead with the questions, I'd like you all to just give a sense of what exactly is going on in your country regarding COVID-19 as a pandemic. Is the situation normal or is lockdown still there? And what do you think what's going to happen in the next course of 2 to 3 months?
The situation in Australia is actually quite good. COVID cases are like basically zero with maybe one coming in once a month. There's no lockdown and it's great, yeah.
Awesome. So you guys are having your competition virtually or a physical one?
Oh, physically.
Okay, so you guys are having your races as well?
Yeah, it's everything's manual, like everything's normal. It's almost like COVID never hit us.
Okay, that's amazing to hear, I guess, because definitely if I talk about India, we are having a virtual competition right now, and we are not having the races, so everything that's going on is virtual, and we have to submit all our documents, and I mean we have to upload it over the portal, and this is what it's going on, and you said that uh, once in a month you might be getting one case, but it's definitely not the situation right here, but I mean we are definitely, I mean, in a stage that we definitely will recover from it very much soon. Uh, all right. So my first question to you all is that how did you all started your journey since you guys are participating for the first time in this competition? How did the Phantom Racing as a team came into existence? And are you guys friends or it was just a random thing that happened and you guys formed up as a team?
I had the idea of just going to F1 in school, so I decided just to like form a team. So I asked a few of my friends, everyone here, just to join up, and everyone surprisingly agreed, and we just formed a team.
So you guys come from the same high school?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
The next thing that I'd like you all to ask that, as you told that, I mean, Ishan, you wanted to do Formula One in schools, right? So, why you wanted to do this competition? I mean, what was that thing that really fascinated you? That all right, I should really do this and enroll for this competition. And I'd like this question to, I mean, answered by everyone because everyone might have a different perspective that why they are doing it. We'll start with Arjun this time.
Um, I joined F1 in schools because I wanted to get a broader understanding of how to design aerodynamic cars and like what the process was.
Awesome. Ishan?
Me and Cameron were in the same team for future problem solving in primary school, and we made it to nationals, and we really liked the experience. So we decided, like, you know what, let's recreate that with F1 in school. So that's why I'm here.
Okay. Jason?
It's the same similar experiences as
I mean, it's almost the similar for you all, I guess, right? So, Kevin, do you have anything else to add?
I was originally not going to do it because I thought that it was just, a waste of time. But then I thought that, this is an opportunity that I'm probably not going to get again. So I decided, why not?
My next question is particularly to Ishan. So, Ishan, as you told that you came up with forming up the team, right? And you're also the team manager. What, according to you, are some true leadership skills that a leader should possess? And what are the challenges that you have faced till now, bringing the team to this stage of the competition?
Well, I believe I'm not the perfect leader, far from it, and I'm sure many of my teammates will agree. But what I try to do is that I try to like keep the team together. I designate tasks to like everyone, so that they do it. And I just think that organization is key to something like this with such a large workload in such a competition. It's important that we have 5 people, so let's use each person as an individual and divide the work equally and fairly into everyone's strengths. So organization is key for me.
Okay, so organization is something that you believe in, right? And would you like to share any challenges that you face till now? I mean, challenges regarding time management or regarding managing the team. Any particular instance?
Yeah, a big issue for me, at least I felt, was that when we really started going, like actually started, we formed up the team and we had signed up and we were all serious about it. We um we felt that we were in the assessment period for our school at the same time. So we had to wait for like 2 weeks because assessments to work on that. And I felt that I kept feeling that, oh no, we're gonna run out of time. We don't have enough time to do this. But at the end, it was that we have 5 people, and all of us five, I feel, especially are like people who are hard workers, and they were achieving a lot. We're like achieving our goals and everything, and we're like getting our work done. So we managed to overcome those 2 weeks setback.
Okay, so I mean, you guys managed it to probably finish the work in 2 weeks.
No, not all the work in 2 weeks, but like we were set back 2 weeks.
I mean, that's also amazing, I guess, because the amount of workload that the Formula One in schools has, and if you compare it to just finishing, like even giving a finishing touch in 2 weeks itself is a big deal. So, yeah, I mean, that probably reflects how strong the team is and how they particularly believe in each and every member and how they came up together and finished off the work in 2 weeks. That's amazing. My next question is for you, Jason, as it's related to sponsorship. I mean, before approaching any sponsor, what are the strategies that you guys make? Is there a prospectus that you guys have designed, or is there anything else that I mean you design apart from prospectus? And also, while approaching any particular sponsor, do you find some connections or links, or is it just cold emailing them? What is it? I'd like to know that because a lot of people I mean face problems regarding getting sponsors.
Yeah, so what we found out is obviously emailing them. A lot of companies receive hundreds of emails probably. So a strategy that we've discussed with a former team at our school is that walking in with a local business and bringing posters and displaying your car and all the assets that you have produced is a much better way to present yourself rather than just emailing a certain person from that company.
All right. So even in the email, do you guys attach any prospectus or a presentation? I mean, how do you guys keep your email short and precise, or a more detailed one?
We send a more detailed email to present more information. However, in the in update in emails that we might send in the future, we will attach a sponsorship document or ideas to present.
All right. And while designing the return on investment, is it just you that who is planning on what ROIs should be given to sponsors, or is it the whole team that comes up and brainstorm on the return on investments that should be given to sponsors?
I've developed most of the material. However, some other members have provided feedback, additional information.
Okay. So, but what do you suggest? Should the whole team come up, or is it just the marketing or the sponsorship guy who should be looking into it?
I believe that the sponsorship member involved should have a majority, have most of the work. However, the team should critique and provide feedback on what steps they should take next.
The follow-up question for this, Jason, is regarding the digital media and marketing. So while going through your website and even the Instagram, I mean, how do you what is the exact strategy do you guys follow to keep up with the social media, and how do you align it with your team identity? Because in Formula One in schools, we have points for each and everything. So how do you link all of these things? And what is your posting schedule look like on social media handles?
So currently, our social media has only been set up recently, so we haven't really developed a habit or posting strategy. Because of the International F1 in Schools guideline, you're not actually allowed to include the F1 brand inside any social media. So we've had to look at strategies and other methods to change our social media name, such as the website, which includes the F1 name.
So, my next question is for Arjun and Cameron, because it's related to manufacturing and designing of your car. So, guys, what is the inspiration behind designing your car? So, I mean, how do you look like? How do you take all of these things count into, like, from the inspiration to manufacturing?
Um, well, we get inspiration from like previous car models. So like we look at successful cars and look at what they have in common, and we take the good parts like of each car and mix them with our good ideas, like our ideas as well. And then yeah, we design a car that is aerodynamic, I guess.
Okay, Cameron, how do you look into it?
I think what Cameron was trying to say was that we look on our designs and then critique it to see what's good, but what can be better as well. And so in the end, we have something that has been remodeled many different ways.
Applying a trial and error method and getting on with things that you might have made mistakes on, and carrying, like, taking it forward and not making the mistakes again, and enhancing the same particular model, right?
Yes.
My next question is somewhat that I personally wanted to ask you guys, because I guess you guys particularly are having a person who is particularly looking into portfolio managing, and also, what do you think, according to you, is the main things that you should definitely be including in your portfolio in order to score at the fullest?
I'd like to answer this question. Me and Kevin are working on the portfolio mostly. And with the portfolio, I'm sure Kevin can add on to this. But with the portfolio, we try to have a consistent design throughout the entire thing. Try to, as you said, maintain a team identity and meaning. And I'm sure Kevin can add more onto this.
So, moving on, guys. I mean, how much does your school support in all of these things that you guys have been doing right now?
For this, our coordinator, teacher coordinator, Mr. Villani, has taken responsibility to supply us with balsa blocks and 3D printers, as well as teaching us about Inventor and other experiences, as well as letting us contact teams and have meetings with teams who have previously from our school made it to nationals. So I have to say we have a lot to thank to this teacher because he's done a lot for us, and without him, this wouldn't have been possible.
Uh, in order to conclude this podcast, I'd like all of you to answer this question: that what is the final strategy that you would like to tell us that that would probably that would probably lead you to win the competition?
Well, from my point of view, like one of the strategies we take is to like minimize the penalties, I guess, that the car like the time penalties that the judges give to the car. So like by following all the rules and well yeah, by following all the rules, I guess.
What I would like to say is quite related to Arjun, that but I'd like to also add on something that instead of only just applying rules and regulation, that's only one department of F1 in schools. In other departments, we'd like to just capitalize the most on our workload because, like, we've seen in F1 one major thing that your work always capitalizes into benefit. So the more work we put into our social media pages, our a website, our marketing, our portfolio, there's a direct return. So basically, for us, it's that the more you work, the more benefit you'll get from it. So we like to ensure that everything that we make is of high quality and a high standard.
Yes. I mean, definitely your tagline speaks for that as well, right? Quality, precision, and excellence. Jason.
Yeah, so adding on to that motto, quality, excellence, and precision, I believe that what sticks with our team most is persevering with difficulties and really being one that is unique and different from other teams.
I think that a good strategy is just to continually keep improving on what you have and never be satisfied with what you have. Like, continually try and find new things to do, new ways to improve on your work, and never be satisfied with half best.
Amazing. So what have come up from you guys have that never be settled and just keep going, like just keep going ahead with what you guys have been doing and keep doing what the work that you guys have been putting on, and definitely the quality of the work would eventually be enhanced, and that would particularly lead you to win in the race. So, by this, we have come to the end of this wonderful yet insightful episode with this some talented people from Australia. This was Team Phantom Racing, and I'm your host Narayan. You're listening to the Aquila View, and I'm signing off today.